Good morning, class. So, we have finished the first chapter, which is on measurements. So, today we are going to start with the new chapter, which is chapter number 2, and it is on motion. Okay, so this is the chapter 2 of your class 9 physical science. So, let us get started with it. So, to understand the topic on motion, first you should know what is motion. Okay, so the main thing, the first thing that you should know is what is motion. Motion is the when a body gets displaced from its actual position, the body is said to be in motion. Okay, so whenever there is a body, there is one body and it is being displaced from its actual position, then the body is said to be in motion. Okay, so it's simple. Okay, so it's the example which you can give is suppose if you have a pen, okay, you keep it on your table. अन्त त्यो पेनलाई चाहिँ एउटा तिमीहरूले एउटा टेबलमा राखिराख्छ त्यो पेनलाई त्यो पेनलाई उठाइकिन एक ठाउँदेखिको उठाइकिन अर्को ठाउँमा राख्यो so what is happening the initial position okay or the actual position of the pen was on the table so you displaced it हैन त्यहाँबाट उठाइकिन चाहिँ तिमीले अर्को ठाउँमा राख्यो so you are displacing the pen from one position to the other okay so now at that moment you can say that the pen is in motion so same as this so what is motion when a body gets displaced from its actual position then the body is said to be in motion okay so now when we are talking about motion okay when we have already talked about motion the other thing which comes into our mind is about rest okay so that is another important topic which we are going to discuss so we need to know what is rest so when a body remains undisturbed from its actual position the body is said to be at rest okay so this rest is a bit different than what we normally use rest as अरू बेला normally rest भन्दाखेरि के भन्छ हामी just to rest relax गर्नु हैन त्यसलाई चाहिँ रेस्ट भन्छ नि त बट इन टर्म्स अफ फिजिक्स इट इज डिफरेन्ट ओके सो सपोज त्यो एउटा जुन चाहिँ अघिको पेन थियो त्यो पेनलाई हामीले त्यहाँ टेबलमा राखेको छ अन्त हामीले त्यो त्यतिकै छोडिराख्छ त्यहाँ वी आर नट डिस्प्लेसिङ इट यताउता कहीँ केही सारेको छैन देन वी क्यान से द्याट द पेन इज एट रेस्ट okay so that body is at rest because we are not disturbing it and we are not taking it away from one place to another okay so as simple as that so that is what is called as rest now there are certain terms which we need to understand in while understanding this topic okay motion so those topics are number one is distance number two displacement speed velocity and acceleration okay so now to just to give you an overview what did we discuss we discussed what was motion okay so when a body gets displaced from its actual position then the body is said to be in motion next is what is rest when a body remains undisturbed from its actual position then the body is said to be at rest okay so these are the topics that we are going to discuss from now on so the first thing is displacement okay so अब हामी बुझौँ displacement भनेको चाहिँ के हो भनेर okay so first is distance what is distance the path length between the initial and the final position is called the distance okay so अब यो initial र final position भनेको चाहिँ के हो भने it is as good as saying starting position र end position भनेको जस्तै okay so what is the path what is distance भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ it is the path length between the initial and the final position is called as distance okay and the unit of distance is meters okay now we have already understood what is unit what is a physical quantity and in everything distance is also a length meter distance भनेको चाहिँ के हो distance पनि एउटा length नाप्दैछ हामीले यहाँदेखिको यहाँसम्मको distance कति हो भनेर खोज्छ नि त्यो distance पनि के हो it is a length and length is a physical quantity Okay, and the unit for length is meters. So therefore distance को पनि unit के हुन्छ meters. So the unit of distance is meters, which is denoted by m. On the it is a scalar quantity. Okay, so when we were talking about distance, we said that it is the path length between the initial and the final position. Okay, and now we are saying that it is a scalar quantity. Now a new word is coming here. What is scalar? Okay, so we need to understand what is scalar quantity. A quantity which which just has magnitude, that is the numeric value. Okay, magnitude भनेको चाहिँ के हो, the numerical value is called as the scalar quantity. Okay, so suppose हामीले यो वेट नाप्दाखेरि 20 kg 40 kg भन्छ होइन, लेन्थ नाप्दाखेरि 2 मिटर 3 मिटरहरू भन्छ नि. सो त्यो 2 3 अगाडि भएको चाहिँ के हो, अल दोज आर न्युमेरिकल भ्यालु. सो द्याट इज द म्याग्निट्युड. अन्त पछाडि किलोमिटर मिटर जे पनि आउँछ यो त्यो अल दोज आर युनिट्स. ओके, so what is a scalar quantity भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ a quantity which just has magnitude भन्नुको मतलब चाहिँ जुन चाहिँमा चाहिँ एउटा म्याग्निट्युड र युनिट छ त्यो मात्रै भएको क्वान्टिटीलाई चाहिँ स्केलर क्वान्टिटी भन्छ. ओके, सो सच काइन्ड अफ क्वान्टिटी इज अ डिस्टेन्स. सो डिस्टेन्स नाप्दाखेरि हामीले कति भन्छ, यहाँदेखिको यहाँसम्मको डिस्टेन्स कति हो भन्दाखेरि 2 मिटर 3 मिटर गर्छ नि. सो that is a scalar quantity. We are not describing the direction of it. Okay, so त्यो चाहिँ अब जब next when we discuss the direction, then it will be called as a vector quantity. Okay, so distance is done. Next is displacement. Okay, so displacement भनेको चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ it is the shortest distance that is traveled between the initial and the final position in a specific direction. Okay, एउटा स्पेसिफिक डिरेक्सन भन्नु चाहिँ हो त्यो जुन चाहिँ हामीले जुन चाहिँ ठाउँको लागि डिस्प्लेसमेन्ट नाप्दैछ, सो त्यसको चाहिँ एउटा पर्टिकुलर डिरेक्सन हुन्छ. ओके, सो फर इच एन्ड एभ्री डिस्प्लेसमेन्ट देयर विल बी अ पर्टिकुलर डिरेक्सन फर इट. ओके, सो डिस्प्लेसमेन्ट भनेको के हो, इट इज द शॉर्टेस्ट डिस्टेंस that is traveled between the initial and the final position in a specific direction. Okay, so that is known as displacement. And the unit of displacement is also meters, because it is a length. Displacement is also a length, so that is why the unit of displacement is meters, which is denoted by m. And it is a vector quantity. Okay, now we said that distance was a scalar quantity. Distance भनेको चाहिँ scalar quantity भन्यो. So scalar भनेको के अरे, a quantity which has just magnitude is known as scalar quantity. Now we should know what is a vector quantity. What is a vector quantity? A quantity which has both magnitude and direction is called as a vector quantity. So vector quantity को चाहिँ के हुन्छ, magnitude पनि हुन्छ अरे, direction पनि हुन्छ. So it has both numeric value as well as direction. So now let us see one example. So let us consider we have an initial point A and a final point B. Okay, हाम्रोमा 2 points are A and B, where A is the initial point, the starting point, and B is the final point, or initial and the final point, or the ending point. No? And to go from A to B, we have number one path. एउटा path चाहिँ के छ अरे, यस्तो A देखिको B जाने यस्तो घुमेको, that is the number one path. Number two path is a straight line from A to B. And number three मा चाहिँ यस्तो खालके छ path. Okay, a quite crooked and a wrinkled path. Okay, so from A to B there is path 1, path 2 and path 3. Now we have already understood what is distance and what is displacement. Okay, now we need to see which all from this 1, 2 and 3, which all are distance and which all are displacement. Okay, now you people can just pause the video and just try to analyze. Okay, you people have already understood. तिमीहरूले बुझिसकेको छ डिस्टेन्स भनेको के हो, डिस्प्लेसमेन्ट भनेको के हो. तिमीहरूले एकछिन पज गरेर भिडियो पज गरेर you people can try to analyze which one is distance, which one is displacement. Okay, otherwise now I am giving you the answer. 1, 2, 3 all are distances from A to B. Okay, so 1 is also a distance from A to B.
2 is a distance from A to B, and 3 is also a distance from A to B. Because distance भनेको के अरे, it is the path length between the initial and the final position. So this is also one path length, this is another path length, and this is another path length between the initial and the final position. But a displacement भनेको चाहिँ के हो, it is the shortest distance. अब यो नम्बर 1 भन्दा त 2 एकदमै छोटो छ र 3 भन्दा पनि एकदमै छोटो छ. So त्यसले गर्दा सबभन्दा shortest distance is 2, which is a straight line. हैन. So 2 is the displacement from A to B, which is the shortest distance. Okay. So your टिप्समा 1 2 3 मा चाहिँ के अरे, 1 2 3 all are distances, but only number 2 is a displacement. बुझ्यो? Understood? So now we should know the relationship between the distance and displacement. Okay. So there are certain relationship between distance and displacement. Relationship भनेको चाहिँ distance र displacement चाहिँ कसरी दुईटा चाहिँ related छ भनेको. Okay. So number 1 is saying that distance is greater than displacement. ठिकै हो? Yes, हैन? Because distance 1 पनि हो, 3 पनि हो, and it is greater than 2. So this is correct. And another one is saying distance is equal to displacement. यो पनि correct हो, because number 2 is equal to distance and is also equal to displacement. So therefore distance is equal to displacement. Third one says distance is greater than and equal to displacement. ठुलो पनि हुन सक्छ रे, equal पनि हुन सक्छ. So त्यो त ठिकै हो नि त, किन ठुलो पनि हुन सक्छ, equal पनि हुन सक्छ. हैन? 1 and 3 ठुलो छ 2 भन्दा, but 2 चाहिँ distance पनि हो, displacement पनि हो. So equal पनि हुन सक्छ र ठुलो पनि हुन सक्छ. Distance is greater than or equal to displacement. यो पनि ठिकै हो. Third one says distance is less than displacement. अब number 3 distance हो, number 1 distance हो, number 2 displacement. अब 2 is 2 greater than 1 and 3. 2 त 1 र 3 भन्दाखेरि त ठुलो छैन नि त, सानो छ नि त. So यो relation चाहिँ wrong हुन्छ. It is not true. Okay, all these are true हुन्छ, यो चाहिँ false हुन्छ. Okay, so यो सबैमा पनि which is the most relevant, okay, which is the most relevant and which is the most convenient answer चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ distance is always greater than or equal to displacement. So distance चाहिँ जहिले पनि displacement भन्दा कि त ठुलो हुन सक्छ कि सेम हुन सक्छ. त्यो भन्दा सानो हुन सक्दैन कहिले पनि. ठुलो पनि हुन सक्छ, सानो इक्वल पनि हुन सक्छ, तर सानो चाहिँ हुन सक्दैन. Okay, so with this example we can understand that distance is always greater than or equal to displacement. So now let us see the difference. We have a difference table. So distance and displacement. The side of the distance is, it is the length of the actual path traveled by an object in a motion while going from one point to another. Okay, so distance it is the path length, okay, of the actual path traveled by an object, okay, which is at motion. त्यो एउटा object चाहिँ एउटा मोसनमा छ, मोसनमा छ भनेको चल्नु हो नि त, हैन? So it is going from one point to another. So त्यो दुईटा point को बीचको length लाई चाहिँ we call it distance. Okay, so displacement भन्दा चाहिँ के अरे, it is the shortest distance between the starting and the finishing point. This is also done. So distance, it is a scalar quantity. Displacement, it is a vector quantity because it has direction as well. Distance, it is either equal or greater than displacement. Displacement, it is either equal or smaller than displacement. This is also correct. Another one, distance traveled is always positive. Whereas displacement may be positive or negative or zero. Okay, so distance whatever we calculate, the distance traveled by something, it will always be a positive number. Okay, so 0 भन्दा ठुलो नै हुन्छ. Whereas displacement can be positive number which is greater than 0. 0 पनि हुन सक्छ, अन्त 0 देखिको कम्ती नेगेटिभ मा पनि जान सक्छ. Okay, so these are the differences between distance and displacement. Now with this, essentially we have understood what is distance and displacement. First, what did we do? We understood the definition of distance and displacement. Okay. After that, we, with the help of one diagram होइन त्यो path length भएको from A to B, we understood which one was distance, which one was displacement. Now we are seeing the distance and displacement table. Okay, now let us do one question to understand what is displacement and distance. Okay, so the question says a person walks 3 meters from A to B. Okay, so A देखिको B सम्म चाहिँ 3 मिटर हिँड्छ and 4 meter from B to C. Okay, so from B देखिको C चाहिँ जानुको लागि कति रे 4 मिटर लिन्छ. Now what is the distance and the displacement to reach point C? Okay, so there is a person which is traveling from A to B 3 meter, then B देखिको C चाहिँ 4 मिटर हिँड्दैछ. Okay, now we need to see how much distance is he traveling to reach from A देखिको C सम्म जानु. So A देखिको B and B देखिको C जान्छ नि त. So यो डल्लै ट्राभल गर्नुको लागि चाहिँ डिस्टेन्स कति ट्राभल गर्यो भनेर खोज्नु पर्ने. त्यहाँदेखिको यो चाहिँ स्टार्टिङ पोजिसन, यो एन्ड पोजिसन. The next one says find displacement also. Okay, so now let us find the distance. So distance will be equal to AB plus BC. होइन, to reach point C चाहिँ के हुन्छ AB plus BC. So it will be 3 meter plus 4 meter which will equal to 7 meters. So that is the total distance that is traveled by the person to reach from A to C. Okay, now another thing is displacement. Okay, now this was one path. Displacement भनेको के हो? It is the shortest distance from A to B. अब A देखि shortest distance between the initial and the final position. Initial position यो, final position यो. So यसको लागि त shortest distance त यो होइन नि त. The shortest distance will be this one, the straight line from A to C. Your initial position A, final position C. So त्यसको उयो चाहिँ के भन्छ displacement shortest distance चाहिँ it will be this one. Okay, so अब यो AC खोज्दाखेरि चाहिँ what will be the displacement AC? अब now when we are finding this we need to use Pythagoras formula. हैन, Pythagoras formula चाहिँ के हो? Hypotenuse square. अब एउटा right angle triangle हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ hypotenuse square is equal to perpendicular square plus base square. Okay, so त्यो फर्मुला चलाउँछ. अब यहाँनिर यो hypotenuse square भयो AC, हामीले AC खोज्नुको लागि चाहिँ it will be equal to under root of AB whole square plus BC whole square. अब AB square भनेको AB कति हो 3 हैन, so 3 square plus 4 square which will be equal to 3 square भनेको 9 plus 4 square भनेको 16. 4 4 जा 16, 3 3 जा 9. 16 plus 9 will be equal to 25. Under root 25 भनेको 5 meters. Okay, so what will be the displacement? 5 meter. Okay, so displacement is always less than distance. Our distance यहाँनिर कति छ 7 meter राख्छ हाम्रो. Whereas to reach from the initial to the final position the displacement is 5 meters. Understood? Okay, so it's like this. So when we were discussing about the terms that we need to understand, we saw there was distance, displacement. The next topic was speed and velocity. Okay, so now let us try.
The first thing is speed.
Okay, that we need to know. Speed भनेको के हो? It is the rate of change of distance is called as speed. Okay, so the rate of change of distance is called as speed. अब यो rate of change of speed भनेको चाहिँ के भनेको भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ जहिले पनि rate of भन्छ नि त्यति बेला चाहिँ divided by time हुन्छ. So कति टाइममा चाहिँ कति डिस्टेन्स ट्राभल गर्दैछ भनेको चाहिँ स्पिड हो. ओके, सो एउटा सर्टेन टाइम छ हाम्रोमा हैन, सपोज 5 सेकेन्ड छ. 5 सेकेन्डमा चाहिँ एउटा मान्छेले कति किलोमिटर ट्राभल गर्दैछ भनेर हेर्यो. 5 मिनेटमा 5 सेकेन्डमा चाहिँ कति मिटर ट्राभल गर्यो भनेर हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ त्यो मान्छेको स्पिड हुन्छ. ओके, सो इट इज द रेट अफ चेन्ज अफ डिस्टेन्स इज कॉल्ड एज स्पीड. It the unit of speed is meter per second. Okay, meter per second भन्छ भन्नु चाहिँ लेख्नु चाहिँ यसरी लेख्छ meter/s लेख्छ which is meter per second. अब यो एउटा मिटर पर सेकेन्ड हो, नभए यसमा किलोमिटर पर आवरमा पनि हुन सक्छ हो. So it is a scalar quantity. Scalar quantity भनेको के हो? Again, a quantity which just has magnitude. Okay, and it does not have direction. So speed भनेको चाहिँ के अरे? It is the distance traveled per unit time. Okay, so it is the rate of change of distance. कति टाइममा कति डिस्टेन्स ट्राभल गर्यो भनेर खोज्दाखेरि चाहिँ स्पिड पाउँछ. So now when we have understood what is speed, okay, the other topic is velocity. Velocity चाहिँ के हो? It is the rate of change of displacement. Okay, speed चाहिँ rate of change of distance, whereas velocity is the rate of change of displacement. Okay, so from here only we can see that the unit is meters per second. That is okay, but now since we are talking about displacement out here, हैन, अघि हामीले डिस्टेन्स भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ स्केलर क्वान्टिटी थियो, डिस्प्लेसमेन्ट चाहिँ वेक्टर क्वान्टिटी भएकोले गर्दाखेरि now velocity is the rate of change of displacement, so that is why it is also a vector quantity. यसको पनि के हुन्छ, magnitude plus direction दुईटै हुन्छ. So velocity will be equal to displacement by the total time. Okay, so from this to definition we can say that, therefore we can say that speed is greater than or equal to velocity. हैन, रिलेसनशिप चाहिँ स्पीड र भेलोसिटीको. जस्तो डिस्टेन्स र डिस्प्लेसमेन्टमा के थियो, डिस्टेन्स वाज ग्रेटर देन अर इक्वल टु डिस्प्लेसमेन्ट, हैन. अन्त स्पीडमा डिस्टेन्स आउँछ, भेलोसिटीमा डिस्प्लेसमेन्ट आउँछ. सो इन अ सेन्स यो पनि के हुन्छ, स्पीड विल बी ग्रेटर देन अर इक्वल टु भेलोसिटी. क्लियर? After this, now let us see the difference between speed and velocity. So speed is, it is defined as the rate of change of distance. Okay, so this is done. Now velocity, it is defined as the rate of change of displacement. This is also done. Now speed, it is a scalar quantity. Velocity, it is a vector quantity. Speed, it can never be negative or zero, and velocity, it can be negative, zero, or positive. We are discussing about displacement out here, and we are discussing about distance, whereas distance can never be zero or negative. Okay, it can only be positive value. Now speed is velocity without direction. Okay, now speed र velocity एउटा कुनै straight line मा एउटा मान्छे ट्राभल गर्दैछ रे, त्यो मान्छेको स्पिड खोज्नु पर्यो, velocity खोज्यो भने के हुन्छ, speed is the value of speed and velocity will be the same, but त्यसमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ, velocity मा direction पनि हुन्छ, speed मा हुँदैन. So we can say that speed is velocity without direction. So speed खोज्ने त त्यही नै हो नि त तरिका त, speed is equals to distance upon time नै हो, हैन. बट अब डिरेक्सनको कुरा छोड्यो भने, डिरेक्सन छोड्यो भने त डिस्प्लेसमेन्ट पनि is same as distance नि त, हैन. So therefore speed is velocity without direction and velocity is a directed speed. भन्नुको मतलब चाहिँ velocity चाहिँ के रे, स्पिडमा हामीले डाइरेक्सन पनि दियो भने चाहिँ velocity हुन्छ. Okay, so speed may or may not be equal to the velocity, हैन. स्पिड चाहिँ velocityसँग equal हुनु सक्छ, नहुनु सक्छ, but velocity चाहिँ, a body may possess different velocities, but it can only have same speed. Okay, so this was the difference. Okay, यो चाहिँ तिमीहरुले अघिको distance र displacement को पनि, यो speed र velocity को पनि, you people can copy, okay, and keep it in your notebook. So like what we did for distance and displacement, for this also we have first understood what is distance, what is displacement. Okay, then we saw the difference between distance and displacement, and then we did one numerical to understand. Okay, so similarly now we have understood the definition of speed, we understood the definition of velocity, we have the relation, you know, speed is always greater than or equal to velocity, and then now we saw the difference table as well. Okay, now let us do one numerical. A car covers a distance of 5 km to reach from point A to B. Okay, so एउटा गाडी छ, त्यो गाडीले चाहिँ A देखिको B पुग्नुको लागि चाहिँ कति गर्दैछ अरे, 5 किलोमिटर ट्राभल गर्दैछ. The car comes 3 km back to point C भन्दैछ. अब A देखिको B सम्म चाहिँ 5 किलोमिटर छ, त्यहाँदेखि B मा पुगिसकेपछि चाहिँ फेरि 3 किलोमिटर चाहिँ ब्याक आयो गाडी, हैन. ब्याक आएपछि एउटा पोइन्ट C मा आइपुग्यो. The total time taken by the car is 2 hours. So यो डल्लै जर्नीको लागि चाहिँ गाडीले चाहिँ कति टाइम लियो, 2 घण्टा लियो. Now find the speed and the velocity. Now we need to find what is speed and what is the velocity of the car. So it's like this. पहिला चाहिँ A देखिको B पुग्नुको लागि चाहिँ कति 5 किलोमिटर गयो अरे गाडी हैन देन B मा पुगेपछि चाहिँ फेरि 3 किलोमिटर ब्याक आयो point C मा. Now we need to find the distance and the displacement. Not distance, displacement. We need to find speed and velocity. So speed भनेको के हो? It is the total distance by total time. Okay. Now which will be equal to total distance कति हो? 3 kilometer plus 5 kilometer plus 3 kilometer. So 5 kilometer plus 3 kilometer divided by total time is 2 hours. So 2 hours which will be equal to 5 plus 3 8. So 2 1 are 2, 2 4 are 8. So 4 kilometer per hour will be the speed. Now we need to see the velocity. Velocity is about speed. When we are talking about speed, we talked about distance. Now when we are talking about velocity, we talk about the displacement. Initial position A, final position C. Okay, so therefore we need to find the displacement. Displacement it is the shortest distance from the initial position to the final position. त्यो चाहिँ कति हुन्छ 2 किलोमिटर किनभने A देखिको C सम्मको डिस्टेन्स मात्रै हेर्नु पर्यो नि त हामीले. So that is the displacement from A to C is the displacement हैन यो डल्लै 5 भयो यति 3 भयो भनेपछि यति कति हुन्छ 2. So this is 2 kilometer. So therefore velocity will be equal to total displacement by total time. Displacement कति हो 2 kilometer by 2 hours total time which will be equal to 1 kilometer per hour. Done. So this is how we actually do the numericals for speed and velocity also. Next class we will discuss about average velocity, average speed, okay, those kind of stuffs, and we'll also discuss more on acceleration. Okay, so with that, and then we will also discuss some of the numericals from the book and some of the questions. Okay, so which with that, what will happen? We'll have totally finished the chapter. Okay, motion pani on the राम्रोसँगले त्यो डल्लै च्याप्टरलाई we'll revise and we'll discuss and we'll try to solve the questions from the book as well. Okay, so with this we are done with the first part, that is the introduction. So let us see you all in the next class. Okay, thank you.